some joy in this thing. Hey.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. Take just a moment to receive a deep breath. Give it back. That's how we should live our lives. Giving, receiving, and giving and receiving. Look around the room if you would and send a smile to somebody. It's easy to send a smile. If you're concerned about hugs and being that close, you can still send a smile to each other. I just need this guitar. All right. Hey now. Everybody stand up if you would. Just kind of stretch a little bit. This is our theme song because today is our birthday. It's One Love Celebration Birthday. Everybody sing it if you know it. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Oh yeah, let's get together and feel alright. I like this verse. Let them pass all of their dirty remarks. There is one question that I'd really like to ask. Is there a place for the hopeless sinner who would hurt all mankind just to save its own beliefs? Oh. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Hear the people crying. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Oh yeah, let's get together and feel alright. Put those hands together, sing one love, one heart. Oh yeah, let's get together and feel alright. Hear the people crying. One love, yeah, one heart. Oh, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Oh yeah, let's get together and feel alright. Everybody give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Yeah. Woo! That feels good. High five about 2 or 3 people as you're seated. I'm going to ask the Bob if he will come and welcome us into this new year. Here's the Bob, y'all.
With pleasure, with pleasure, with pleasure, with pleasure. I'm saturated with pleasure right now. Let's all take a deep breath together. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me just tell you all, waking up and feeling all this love vibrating below you is just a great way to wake up in the morning. I came down and immediately met a new friend, Phoenix, who's telling me about his 2 children, and we started blissing out about how the protons and atoms and orbiting energy comes together, and here we all are, and how John and Carrie and all of you had a thought that there is love in our community and we just want to get together, and those thoughts all came together, and here we are. It's just like, we're just blissing out on just the mystical majesty of it all. So thank you, and I'm just going to saturate myself in this love here today, so welcome.
And because Bob won't do this, I am going to do this. Bob is providing this space for us to be in out of love, and I just want to make sure that if this is affecting you, not infecting, but affecting you in the greatest way, that just make sure to let Bob know that. I just want to say I deeply appreciate you hosting One Love here, and I'm so glad that One Love is in Birmingham. I'm so glad. And somebody asked us, said, okay, 11 o'clock today. All right, so moving forward, we're at 11 o'clock in this room, unless we're making notice of having to be somewhere else. But we're in this room at 11 o'clock, and it'll be hosted every single week. I'm so thankful, and I cannot wait to see what 2022 has in store for us. In fact, let me say it this way. I can't wait to see what we have in store for 2022. Because it really is about the energy that we put into the space called planet Earth. There's a guy that I met a few years ago. I was in the music business, believe it or not, and I've recovered from it. But I did a lot of road travel with our band. We've moved 3 families from the Athens, Georgia area to Nashville, Tennessee at the end of 2011. So we were in Nashville from 2011 until about 18, and then everybody just sort of went in different directions. We kind of had the same story that a lot of bands had. We almost made it, whatever that means. And so we almost made it several times. But in the mix of all of that, I met so many wonderful people that, and there were a few that I was like, hey, I don't really want to hang out with them anymore. But there were so many wonderful people that I had a chance to meet. And one of the most creative, talented, and open-hearted human beings that I personally met during the time of songwriting and being around people in the music business was Phoenix Mendoza. And so several months ago, I was doing some kind of it wasn't a Christmas event. It was like a fall concert for a club on the lake in Georgia. And I had asked Phoenix about doing it, and then they didn't want to fork out the financing that was needed for someone to come from Nashville. So we had booked someone else, or they had booked someone else. And then they called me 3 days in advance of that and said that other person had to cancel. To which I said, if you have the money, I can bring the guy I said I was going to bring to start with, I think, if he's still open. I reached out to Phoenix thinking, no, he's not going to be open, not with this much talent, not 3 days in advance. But he was like, dude, I just happen to be open. Let me ask the missus, which is a terminology that he uses smartly. Let me ask the missus and I'll let you know. And then he reached back out and said, I'll do it. And it was great to see him again. We reconnected. We both had our own spiritual journeys in the process. It's been a minute. But I asked Phoenix, I said, dude, this is our birthday, man. It means a lot. Would you come down from Nashville and share with us? And he was like, I'm there, brother. So Phoenix Mendoza, come up here and sing us happy.
Check, check, there's that one. And I think I muted the guitar. There we go. Huh. So I was going through some songs that, as Bob and I were discussing earlier, childhood, having 2 children threw me for the most beautiful loop that I've ever experienced. And when you realize that lifting someone else other than yourself up is the biggest part of being here, it is the most beautiful blessing. And I wrote some words for my kids, and it's as a songwriter, as we've been doing these dances, you're trying to have a hit, you're trying to chase the thing, you're doing the stuff, and you kind of lose sight of honesty and truth. And then when you meet your children for the first time, it all comes flooding back. And you knock yourself down a couple rungs and realize you're not supposed to be on the top of the ladder. But you can put other people up there, and they can put up with people, and you can raise and rise and lift, and that's the journey. So I wrote these words for my daughter before she was born. And it was kind of some advice, and as with all things that I think are true and honest, they can be universal if we allow them to be. So this is called Compass. to say. Don't let doubting Thomas lead you astray. Ask someone how they are. Look into their eyes. Listen with all your heart. Hear their reply and focus on your compass. It tells you what direction your affection needs to go. But know this, it's just a compass, not a map. You still have to find your path to follow. Cherish your differences, both great and small. More than appearances, they bind us all. And if you are losing faith in what we can be, rise up and be the change you want to see, and focus on your compass. It tells you what direction your affection needs to go. But know this, it's just a compass, not a map. You still have to find your path to follow. La da da da, la da da da, la da 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 da, la da da da, la da da da, la da 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 da. It's a little low for the morning. I should have stayed. Thank you, man. It's nice to unencumber myself with my wants and desires, you know. I think once you live for other people, life becomes a whole lot easier. I played this the last time when we were up in Nashville at Thistle Farms. This is a song called Love Will Outlive. Hear me, my child, this world is wild and the beasts are far from tame. There's something to learn around every turn, and scars to be earned just the same. There's light and there's darkness, like-minded artists who fight for the same canvas space. Somewhere in between lies you and me, and we're all trying to find our own place. So follow your heart and don't fear the dark. Take only what you can give. Any pain that there is, love will outlive. La 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 la, love will outlive. There's good and there's bad, happy and sad. You'll get to know them by name. Beauty and wonder, lightning and thunder, but you can't have rainbows without rain. So follow your heart and don't fear the dark. Take only what you can give. Any pain that there is, love will outlive. La 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 will outlive. Dress rehearsal, it just comes and it goes. Oh, but love is universal. It grows and it grows. Follow your heart and don't fear the dark. Never take more than you give. Any pain that there is, love will outlive. Any pain that there is, true love would outlive. Love, la la love will outlive. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to do one. When I went down to play that show in Georgia, you take I-24. I told this story up at Thistle Farms. And when you're on I-24, and as a musician, oh boy, that corridor, that's just all the time. You know, you're going to Atlanta, you're going to Florida, whatever. You're taking 24/75, and that's just how it goes. And right when you get into Chattanooga, just above, just in between the I-24 kind of weaves in and out for just a second of Georgia and Tennessee. And you'll find billboard signs. The whole way down, you see billboard signs, see Rock City, see Rock City, see Rock, just everywhere. And then you get closer to Chattanooga into the Georgia, it's Jesus Saves, see Rock City. Trust Jesus, see Rock City. Just back and forth. And one of the times I came back, I'm pretty sure I was nursing a pretty good hangover. And I was just looking out the window, and right there in Chattanooga, there is a sign that says, Trust Jesus, and directly in front of and behind it, see Rock City. And this song started coming out, and I couldn't stop it. Here we go. Trust Jesus, see Rock City. I-24 gets kinda boring when you drive it for a living. Counting miles on billboard signs that just keep trying to get me to trust Jesus, see Rock City. Well, I've seen 3 states in 2 days on my way to Tennessee. I got 2 babies and my lady at home waiting on me, just north of the Georgia pines, where the volunteer highway winds through the state line. Oh, you'll start seeing signs to trust Jesus, see Rock City. If traffic's flowing and it ain't pouring, oh, it sure is pretty. Except of course for those billboards for the Lord and for the hippies. Trust Jesus, see Rock City. Don't suppose that you gotta pick one. You can do both, you can do none. To each their own, as long as it don't hurt anyone. Trust Jesus, see Rock City. I don't know why, but those old signs got the wheels in my mind spinning. They're not the same, but they're on the same side, and who knows, that just might get me to trust Jesus and see Rock City. Trust Jesus, see Rock City. Thank you guys so much. Peace and love.
Oh my God, that's so good. Trust Jesus. See Rock City. That line, what's that line? They're both on the same side, so they just might get me too.
We're not the same, but they're on the same side. Who knows, that just might get.
See, those lines, those are the lines I listen for in songs, and you know how to write them. Phoenix, Mendoza, y'all. Woo! Hey, you know now that you're responsible for being a permanent member of One Love. You understand that, right? So, I love it. And we've talked about, and now I'm roping Fraser in public in front of everybody into this. We've talked about writing a songbook for this movement, and so I'm holding us all three to that, and y'all hold us accountable to that, okay? Because I do think that this movement of love is not a mistake that it's happened in this time in history. And I think all of the uprooting of things and all of the, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been some chaos. Maybe I'm the only one who noticed. And I think it's perfect because what it does is it breaks up the ground so that the soil becomes ready for planting new seed. And so all of the chaos and the disruption and interruptions, it's all perfect. In fact, look at somebody and tell them, it's all perfect. And you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. So I actually do have an order of suggestions today because I butcher orders of service, and so I just make them suggestions. We have some wonderful people who have helped to make One Love possible from its very beginning, and people who were friends of mine before One Love even came into mind. One of those people is Patricia Leffler, who I'm going to ask to come now, if you will, for just a moment. I'm going to bring you up this way. Patricia is one of the board members, according to, and this is wonderful because I believe in the counsel of many, but according to the laws of the land, if you're a 501c3 faith-based organization, you're supposed to have a board. And so when I started looking into the function of what that means, because I do believe in the wisdom of counsel of many, I really wanted to reach out to people who had a heart for going beyond religious expression and moving into the possibilities rather than the probabilities that had been based on a conditioned functioning. And this was one of the people that came to mind, Patricia, because as long as we've known each other, in fact, when I was at Unity of Nashville, you were on the board when I first went there. And I think you probably were sort of like me in that you're probably the person that sat in board meetings and went, why are we fussing about that? And how does that count toward what we're doing? In other words, I'm saying you're a misfit too, like me. And has also been a dance teacher for I don't know how long, I guess. Over 25 years. So since you were 5. Yes. And so teaches dance in Nashville, a lot of other wonderful stuff, a lot of other talent. But what I asked was that we put together some movement for today. And of course, we couldn't leave Melissa out. So I'm going to ask Melissa if you'll come up, because she introduced also to us the dancing that she is doing. And you're doing that you're doing it in a hospital environment, a clinical environment, teaching essentially movement for therapy. It is therapy to move. It is therapy to listen to music and to participate in music. And so what we're about to do is therapeutic. It's spiritual. It moves with the solar system. We've talked about that and how those movements happen. And so I'm going to ask them to come and lead us in this wonderful dance. Is there anything you wanted to say? Because I want to give you the...
Well, no pressure either way. You've got scarves there. You can just move it around where you are. You can come join us. We're doing part line dance,
Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Oh, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams, see enough to shine. Listen, Lord, if you want to know what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Oh, not just for some, but for everyone. Everyone, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Not just for some, but for everyone. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. World needs now love, sweet love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. World needs, what the world needs, what the world needs is love, sweet love. Just the love, sweet love, simply love, sweet love, 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 love. What the world needs now, what the world needs now, yeah. What the world needs now. What the world needs now is love, sweet, sweet love.
Hey, hey. So good. Oh my gosh. You didn't know you were dancers, did you? Yeah. So good. And we took it to the porch too. So all of Birmingham's seeing what's happening. So I really can't describe to you how my heart feels right now. I see you found a Uber. It's uber awesome. Oh, this is so good. Can you feel the love in the room? Can you just, this is the magic. You know, it's like life is not meant to be lived as much as life is meant to be celebrated. You know, not just sort of mundane, celebrating life and the power of life and this love that's within us all. You know, when I think about my life, looking back over 27 years, I'm moving into my 28th year as an ordained minister. Whoa, I know that's hard to believe. I know I look great for 75. But going into my 28th year as an ordained minister, and over half of that I spent running away from the religion I was ordained in. Because I didn't feel it. But there were things that I did feel. 1 John 4:8, God is love. And I can go with that. I can go with love your neighbor as yourself. I can go with love your enemy, do good to those who wish you harm, pray for those who oppress you, and bless those who curse you. I can go with those things because I do believe that that's the function or the natural flow of life and the creative source and force from which all of us come to be, by the way. And that includes the people you don't like. That includes the people you disagree with. In fact, I think probably even more because our soul's inviting us into that space of pure oneness to understand it. The theme for 2021 was, there's so much energy in the room, it zapped these batteries. They're like, we can't deal with this. They're not Duracell. In 2021, our focus was going beyond the veil. And the idea was to get beyond everything that had conditioned us into whatever way we were thinking. And that includes the stuff I really hold on to as things I believe. I'm really careful now about holding on to anything. You know, I'm really careful about being aggressive with even my ideas. Even the dream of one love it's a flow, it's fluid. If somebody had have said to me a year ago when we started this, do you think you'll be in Birmingham, Alabama? I would have said no. Nowhere in Alabama do I think we'll be. Hawaii maybe, India, Alabama, because I also don't, I want to be able to see, but I want to be able to see beyond concepts. I want to be able to see beyond, well, I'll say it this way, the lenses of our soul are often so fragmented and fractured by the ideas that have been sown into our souls by the world around us, the people who raised us, the religious influence, that I really want those lenses, the scales, to fall off of my eyes so that I can constantly be seeing where I'm supposed to go as a human being and as a spiritual being. So I wrote some things down because I was spending some time over the last 2 weeks, a little bit of time and it felt good to get away from some of the hustle and bustle of holidays and just sort of sit with the thinking that was coming. And I was like, okay, I really think that I need to put a theme in place for the year for myself. So I'm going to share with you what that is for me. I'm projecting it onto One Love, and I'm well aware of that. And so it may not be your theme, but the theme that I feel pulled toward or in flow with for this year is the theme, Here We Grow. Here we grow, as in we're expanding, we're growing internally, but here we grow. And that we won't judge what we think is a weed. You know, the difference between a weed and a flower is a judgment. And what some of us have judged before is just judged based on our perceptions. And it's okay to have likes and dislikes. We all do. But to be able to move past that judgment and just grow, be in the space where we feel safe to grow, to really function in the flow of who we are. And so these were the things that came this morning as I was in time of meditation. I spent some of my meditation this morning thinking about and sending energy of healing toward people who are connected to our community who are struggling physically right now. We have some folks actually at this very moment who are connected to us who are at the hospital, and we need to send our love toward them for healing. They're at the hospital because of struggling with illness, and we need to hold them in that space of healing. But this is what came, these three words: persist, yield, and accept. So I'm setting the stage for me this year to be persistent, but to be yielding and to accept. Persist. Be persistent in practice this year. I don't know if practice makes perfect, but it does make permanent, to the degree that what we practice or what we practice becomes a habit, and what becomes a habit becomes our habitat. It's the way we build our life. And so persist in that. Train your brain. Pat yourself on the head and say, this year, I'm training you to follow me. I'm not going to follow you. Because that unconscious mind has been trained rigorously by the stuff that we allow into it. You are what you eat, what you consume with your mouth, what you consume with your eyes, what you consume with your ears. What you allow yourself to ruminate on becomes a part of the fabric of your being. You know, what you allow this brain to sit in becomes a part of who you are. You know, what you take personal becomes a part of your personal reality because it becomes a part of your personality. If you don't want to manifest it, don't take it personal. I was mentioning last night at our dinner that I remember being in a very intense meeting recently. And in the intensity of the meeting, I had an out-of-body experience. I was sitting there. William was in this meeting. I was sitting there, and I could feel this intense sort of weird, and it was just like my face was flushing, and I was getting like insulted. There were a few things that just I felt insulted about. And I thought, why are you feeling this way? What's going on? And in that moment, it was like, boom, I was sitting next to me. And I'm watching me, and I'm watching the personality going, why would you even ask that question? You know, because there was a sense of a feeling of like being interrogated. How many of you ever felt like sitting in a conversation, you were being interrogated? And I felt like I was being interrogated. There was a part of me that was. And I was sitting next to myself, Bob, and it was like I was watching the personality, and it dawned on me, yes, I am multiple personality. But I admit it. Time for you to. But I remember I was sitting next to myself, and it dawned on me, oh man, this is what I preach, that I can watch what people fling at this person that they think I am, but they don't really know the real me. And I don't know how close we can get to each other to know the real person. But I can tell you this, if in 2022 you're looking to be offended, it's going to be easy to find. In fact, it'll find you. But if in 2022 you'll decide to step out of personality and step into the reality of pure presence, step into the reality of the divine being that you are, the source force that is already within you, if you'll step into that and you'll allow whatever somebody says or whatever someone does to just be, you persist in your practice and you simply yield like water. Wu Wei. Just flowing with it. Be like water. Fraser, we were talking about this yesterday evening, how that when you spray water, the force of the pressure, air, pushes the water to a high point, but immediately it begins to flow to the lowest point it can find. And then Bob mentioned not being a puddle, but being a river. The stagnation of a puddle versus the powerful force of a river. Can I let it flow through me? It flows to you already, but are you damming it up? Because if you're damming it up, you're damned if you do. Don't thank you. Get rid of the dam. Allow the function and the flow. So be persistent in your practice, but be yielding like water. You know, if you shoot water, you can't cause it to be wounded. You may unsettle it, but you can't wound it. If you punch water, it doesn't leave a bruise. If you stab water, it doesn't bleed. It allows the blade to move through it. And it just simply moves out of the way. I call it emotional Aikido. You know, some of y'all know I'm mildly obsessed with Aikido because Aikido is a wonderful martial art that doesn't focus on offense. It focuses on defense, moving the energy. Moving the energy. Now, after today, you're going to find yourself probably at lunch, at dinner. You'll get a phone call from somebody you may not care for too much, and you will find the opportunity to either absorb the energy like a punch or to move the energy. Because as you become yielding in love, you begin to function like water. And then you just flow anywhere. And water doesn't have judgment. You know how I know this? When I stepped into the shower today, and the water hit me in the face. It didn't say anything. And when I turned around and it hit me on my back, it still didn't say anything. It didn't care whether it was my face or my hinder parts that it was running through. It just did what it do. Can I get a witness? Somebody up in here, up in here. So as you persist and you yield, then accept. Yin yang, if you'll allow it to flow, it'll conceive within you the birthplace of the divine presence in the world. Just receiving and giving, but accepting. And I wrote this down about acceptance. Accept what is as it is, knowing you are not your circumstances. You are not your situation. You are not the condition. You're the awareness. You're the knowing, not the condition that is known. You're the knowing, that element of knowing. And so I decided to go to, really, I have several favorite books, but my favorite one that I take with me all the time is the Tao Te Ching. Anybody? Other Tao Te Ching people? I saw that hand go up. I care. You just feel the energy of it. It's, Lao Tzu, the writer, well, it's said to be, the legend is that Lao Tzu, which means old boy, there's a couple of different translations, but the one I liked the most was old boy, which spoke to an older man with a boyish kind of youth. So the old boy, often pictured on an oxen, writes down 81 verses called the Tao Te Ching, and it just means the virtue of the way, or the way things are. And he wrote in the 78th verse, this is a good one. And y'all know I'm a crybaby, so I'm going to try not to cry during this, but he said, nothing in the world is softer or perceived weaker than water. Yet to conquer the hard and strong, nothing surpasses it. Nothing can take its place. And everything needs it. Stop right there. When you're like water, you nurture the world around you and you don't even know it. It's not a strain to do it. You just do it because it just be you. The weak overcomes the strong. The soft overcomes the hard. Everybody in the world knows this. Still so few make use of it. Therefore, the sage says, to bear the country's disgrace is to rule the shrines of soil and grain. To bear the country's misfortunes is to be the king of the world. In other words, live your life without judgment. Don't judge the weed nor the flower. Embrace it for what it is. And he ends with this line. And I'm going to let it sit with you, and you decide what this line is for you. It's really interesting that after all of this sort of poetic thing, he ends with this line. And I still wrestle with this line. True words seem false. It doesn't even feel like it's with the rhythm of the verse, but he says true words seem false. I'm going to say what it means for me today. In 2022, I'm actually going to mean what I've said many, many, many times. This source that we've called God is beyond label. It's beyond the function of language. It's so far beyond and so exquisite that we can't even describe it. And so I'm not going to ask us to describe it. I'm going to ask us to live it, which is a step further than description. I'm so over trying to explain what God is. And I'm so into experiencing everything that is possible within this existence that we have. The Roman poet Ovid said, dripping water hollows out the stone, not through force, but through persistence. Water embraces instead of confronts. It caresses instead of beats. But it will subdue eventually. So I ask us to enter into this space of love where, like water, we begin to embrace instead of confronting. I don't know if you've noticed the weird political climate. Anybody else? So much of it is about, no, I'm right. No, I'm right. Yeah, well, how do you know you're right? Well, I know I'm right. Begin they throw up memes. Here's how. Google that. Well, then Google that. And then they'll go Google this one, and you're back and forth. And all of a sudden, it's just this constant state of confrontation. You know what will fix it? Embracing rather than confronting. Bathing in love. When you have the opportunity to be right or to be kind, choose kindness. Choose kindness. So, here we grow. What better way to grow than to pour some water on it? To constantly feed it with that flow of life. Be yielding. Be a lover. In fact, I'm going to put it right here. I am love. I am love. I am love. So when I function as love, I can't help it because that's what I am. Therefore, you are God. Can you say that? Or will that wig you out? One of the best affirmations we can make going into 2022, I am God. I am God. I am God. Yeah. I may not be the whole ocean, but all of the ocean is in every drop. And I am that pure presence in the world. If we testify to that, sure, there'll be people that go, oh, really? You don't look like much of a God to me. Well, that's the same thing said about Jesus. Just flow and be in this year. This is a practice that I actually find very freeing. First time I experienced what's called a burning bowl was at a Unity church. It was actually Unity of Nashville. First Unity church I ever attended was Unity of Nashville. And on that New Year's Eve, they asked that I help with the burning bowl ceremony, to which I said yes, and then walked out immediately and Googled that. Because I'd never done it. So I was like, yes. As I walked away, John asked John, are you sure? Because there's burning involved, and people have threatened to send you to hell. Are you sure that you want to go to a burning bowl? You don't even know what it is. You said yes. Well, I'm just saying yes to the universe. And so as I Googled it, I found so many wonderful things about burning bowl. How many have ever been a part of a burning bowl service? So, we're going to, wonderful Hazel, thank you so much for locating pens and pencils and stuff because I had completely forgotten about needing something to write with. And then Carrie says, what are they writing with? And I went, pens and pencils? She said, yeah, from where? And I went, oh, we don't have any? Anyway, so Hazel was like, I will locate some of these. So we can do some sharing and sharing alike if you want to. What I'm going to ask, I'm going to ask Fraser and Barry, can I get volunteers? If you will help me pass these sheets of paper out. If you don't have enough, we'll have some more. But if you'll help me pass these out to each person. What we'll do is I'm going to ask you to take a few moments while we're in a time of meditation and write down one or two, 45 things, whatever it is, that you really know it's time for you to let go of in this year. Now, this is symbolic, okay? Because if you write it down and you don't actually commit an act of nirvana, which is to blow out or to breathe out or to extinguish, then it's not going to really do you any good. But I'm asking that you write down something you know you're ready to release. And then as the music is playing and as we're in a meditative time, I'll ask that you come up here when you're ready. And that you will simply take one corner of the paper. Now, this paper is going to extinguish quickly. It's flash paper and it's flashy. That you bring it up here and you just simply let it go. And drop it into the sand. Now, some of them will burn faster than others. It's funny because I've told people, the first time Carrie was in one of these, she comes up to the burning bowl and she goes to light it and drops the paper on the candle, and the candle goes out, and she goes, she said, "Oh my God, what does that mean for my year?" And I was like, "No, we'll just light it again. It's fine." Other people walked up and it was like, whoop, instantly. Some people would walk up and it was just like would float. So just be mindful. We're not going to set Bob's house on fire. But just be mindful that some are going to burn faster than others. And some you may have to light more than once. But just let it go. Let it all go. And if you have to light it more than once, be determined. It's called persistence. Just be with it and be persistent. Know that persistence and yielding and acceptance really is the order of this year. And so if you'll take a few moments, I'm going to write some things down myself. Take a few moments and just decide what it is that you really know needs to leave your life. And as you feel so led, you can come up and just light it on fire. Just letting it go. This Bob is on fire. Look at that. remembering, of course, that this is just a visual of what you've decided to let go of. That the decision is beyond the service. You know, so many times, oh man, when I was a kid, I got saved so many times. You just don't know. I mean, it was like everything was a sin, you know. It's like there was a devil under every rock. And I went to so many, at every youth camp, I got saved. At every church service, I got saved, especially once I became a teenager. I went to bed every night afraid that if I died before I woke, that God may not take my soul. So what I noticed is that people would come to what was called the altar, and it's called an altar for a reason because it's the root word for alteration. And an alteration, in order for it to really function, you have to do some measurements, and you have to decide then, will you wear the garment? So the measurement that you've made today, the choice, now you're invited to wear that garment for this year, to actually wear the garment that's free from whatever it was you let go of. You know, to be accepting, to be yielding, and to persist in your practice of truth. Now I'm going to ask you to do this. You've made space by letting go. Now I'm going to ask that between this week and next week, you take the time to decide what it is you want to build in this new year. What is it that you want to create in this new year? What do you want to attract? What kind of energy do you want to attract into your life? Don't think about what you don't want. Put your energy toward what you do want. And if you can't be back in this space next week, we'll give you an address to mail it to, but I'm just going to ask you to write it down. And here's what I want to do. I'm asking you to let me serve you in this way if I can. We're going to collect these notes. I'm not going to look at them. Just fold them and send them to me. If they're in an envelope or you bring in an envelope, it will not come out of the envelope. And I want to put these in a container to be with me every day as I meditate, as I pray, so that during a certain part of that meditation, I'm going to do nothing but concentrate on you, your energy, what you want, what you're looking for, because it's the power of agreement. It's not because I'm some great guy, but it's because the agreement that we all have, when we combine that together, we create a link that makes this thing work. We create a chain reaction in the world through the power of agreement. So I'm just asking, if you feel so led, to bring that back next week or to mail it to us if you want a mailing address. Just see us at the end of the session today. I'd be more than happy to give that to you, because I want to carry you with me this whole year, setting my intention with you for what you're wanting to create. Is that cool? Is that okay? All right. So we'll make a covenant together for that. All right. I need to look at the order of service because the suggestions have left me on what's next. Babe, can you tell me what's next? Because I have misplaced mine. Yes. Oh my gosh. Fraser. Dude, this guy who we've had the opportunity to meet is a singer and a songwriter. And we were actually planning to have another special guest with us who's not able to be here, Jim Aycock. Am I saying that right? Jim Aycock was going to be with us today, but he is challenged with COVID. And so then it just so happened. He is getting better. I did see him on Facebook. He sang Old Lang Syne for New Year's Eve. So he is getting better. But we got a chance to meet this guy. We're actually kind of roomies right now. At the house next door, and we got a chance to meet each other, and we were doing some work on some things upstairs, just kind of like, and he's down there jamming, and I looked at Carrie and I went, this guy's got talent. This guy's good. Because there's a lot of singers and songwriters in the world. You know, I mean, everybody sings or everybody does comedy or something, right? And so you know how this is, Phoenix. People will come up and go, I got this song I made up that I'd like for you to hear. And you're thinking, well, because you said you made it up and you didn't say you wrote it, the odds are it's not great. And that's terrible because we shouldn't judge that way. But it tends to happen because everybody has a song. Well, we went down and had a chance. We almost got a mini concert. We did get a mini concert from this guy. And I said, dude, can you I didn't want to say pinch hit, but I didn't know of him when we came up with the order of service. I didn't know of it. And it was perfect. So, Jim, if you're watching, this guy's pinch hitting for you today, but he's coming to share his gift and talent with us. Welcome, Fraser. And it's not Frazier, it's Fraser. Oh.
Thank you all. I feel so blessed and honored to be here. So when he asked me yesterday to come up here and play a song, I've really racked my brain. I couldn't think of anything. And then out of nowhere, I just thought of this song that I wrote a long time ago. It's been a while since I've played this, so hopefully it's not rusty. But so it just got me thinking it's what this one love that we're all preaching about really helps with sort of the theme of this song. This song is about, those times in your life where you're just completely drowning in your thoughts and they're just filling up all your time. And the importance of stepping outside of your mind, and love definitely allows that to be possible.
It's a trick. Okay. It's a trap door, and you're going to fall through.
Okay. That's not a long way down.
All you had was a single breath that lasted every day until your death. Would you finally realize the weight of the world rests behind your very eyes? Whoa, got to set it in motion. Through the sound of the ocean, suddenly I find my thoughts are filling in time. Whoa, got to step outside my mind. Only you knew who holds the key to every door of what your life could ever be. But could you turn the lock to believe that all your thoughts turn into every single thing you see? Yeah. Whoa, got to set it in motion. Through the sound of the ocean, suddenly I find the thoughts are filling in time. Got to step outside my mind.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Step out of my mind. That's good stuff. Phoenix, do you have another song you want to share? Is that putting you on Sweet Home Alabama? No. Do I? Well, Well, I don't know. Okay. You talked me into it. Let's see. Is everybody good? Everybody feel good? This feels, oh my gosh. It's birthday time. I feel so honored to just serve with you. Pick. It's pink? Oh, look at that. See? Thank you. But I don't have an issue with a pink pick. Yeah. This is so fun. You know what I like about this too? And there's just no feeling of have to. How many of you have ever gone to church or synagogue or temple or spiritual center because you're like, well, I guess I have to. Y'all too? I've done it. And I would much rather do the get to thing. All right. Okay. So this kind of enters every day. This enters my prayer time really pretty much every day.
Brought me out upon the water, the great unknown, where feet may fail. There I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep. My faith will stand. I will call upon your name. Keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours. You are mine. Grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may fail and fear surrounds me, I have never failed, and you won't start now. Your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours and you are mine. Let me walk upon the water wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in your presence, my Creator. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the water wherever you would call me. deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in your presence, my Creator. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in your presence, my Creator. Ooh, hey, I will call upon your name, keep my eyes above the waves. Even when the oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, you are mine. To live this life without trust issues. Yeah. Spirit, lead us where our trust is without borders. May we go wherever you call us, to whomever you call us. As we enter this new year, this dangerous prayer, I pray, teach me to love the way you do. I vow to do what I can when I'm taught to love the way you do. May our heart space open. May we be reminded that nothing can separate us from love. Take us deeper than our feet could ever wander. May we fly higher than we even knew we could. Beyond our greatest imaginations, beyond belief, and into the realm of all that's possible. May we go with courage, with confidence, with strength. And so it is, and so it is. Man, I'm getting all weepy again. I'm going to ask another one of our wonderful board members to come, somebody who the first time I met her, I just sensed a beauty that was so deep and such a loving soul and an adventurer. Oh my God, I came to realize this woman is a woman of adventure. There's stuff that she ventures out to do that I'm just kind of like, I don't know that I'm that brave. This woman is brave, and it's proof that dynamite comes in small packages. But I'm going to ask Cheryl Obakirch if she would come and share with us. Cheryl, thank you.
Well, thank you, John and Carrie and Bob and everyone who made this service possible today. And so wonderful to be here in person to see people, just how our lives have been transformed by one love as well as other circumstances in our life. We'll finish out our service as we began with that taking in and taking out. As life breathes us in, it breathes us out. And as John mentioned with water, our life flows from one place to the next to the next. And at this time, consider that when you give financially, it's just water. Money is just water. It's another form of water. And your contribution, it will flow with everybody else's, and it will be directed to where it needs to be in this world for what that greatest need is. It is more than just making our time together, this service, and the mechanics of it to happen. It is actually a physical way that we can manifest our love for the world that we are so blessed to live in. So thank you all for your gifts, your contributions, and most of all, your presence. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. All right. I would get in so much trouble if I did not let you know that over here on the table, there are, there's champagne, for one thing. Somebody say, thank you, Lord. I think we're going to do a mimosa thing in a little bit, but right there's a little box. This is Carrie's idea. She was like, let's just beautify our spiritual investment environment. So there's a box, and it's for spiritual investment. And if you want to share financially, just want you to know that it's there. More than that, thank you for sharing your energy in this space today. We have wonderful decoration, also done by the Carrie Bell. She's the master designer. She tells me where to put stuff, and I say, yes, ma'am, because I'm an inferior decorator. Donna Miller is here also, and she is a board member who takes care of our finances. And I just want to say thank you. It is, when I looked up one day on a board meeting, we were doing a virtual board meeting, and Elle Parker, who's the vice president of the organized part of One Love, she was not able to be with us. Her whole family basically ended up getting infected with COVID, and her youngest daughter, Asia, is autistic and has other immune kind of things, and so it was kind of touch and go, it was rough for them the first part of the week. Otherwise, she would be here with us. But when I looked into the room, the virtual room, and I went, I'm a really smart guy. I'm surrounded by women. I said, this powerful feminine energy, woohoo! And it just dawned on me that, and that wasn't even on purpose, it just happened that way. And these wonderful women who just volunteered their time and their energy. And Donna, thank you for looking after the checkbook that has been prosperous and has been bare at times. And still, she'll just always bring the positivity, even in some of the months where it was kind of dipped into other things. She would always bring the positivity, and she would say, and I love how she'll say, but don't look at the numbers, let's look at our purpose. And then we just watch it flourish because it's supposed to be what it's supposed to be, and we're thankful for that. Was there anything that I missed? Were there any remarks? Anybody wanted to share anything other than, because I know I need to make a special announcement about next week. We're going to party again. Hazel is going to be making a really cool life move, and we're going to be doing a going away celebration for Hazel. But Hazel also has furniture and stuff that she is making available for sale. This will help also to fund her trip. You're going to Kansas? Yes. She's going to find Toto in Kansas. So she's selling furniture. She said that if you need a piece of furniture, you think you might need something that she has available, she's more than happy to show you pictures of what she has available, and then more than happy for you to see it. Hazel, thank you for that and making that available. And we celebrate you with joy. That when I love Hazel and have ever since I met Hazel, but I got to tell you, when we came into town this last week, the look on her, she's like a kid in a candy store. She's so happy. There's this look of, yay, and I loved it so much. I'm so glad for you. Any other announcements other than I know next week we'll be right back here in the same place at 11 o'clock, and I can't think of anything else other than we do have food and we have cake and ice cream and mimosas. So hang around, please, and fellowship. Let's pray for all of those who are right now dealing with illnesses, and let's send all of our love to them. Everybody who's watching live streaming, those of you who are challenged, I don't know, which one am I? Because I want to make sure I talk to them. Those of you who are facing challenges, we love you. We send our love to you, and we see you being well. We see you being healthy. We see you prospering, and we thank you for being a part of this celebration today. Let's everybody just send some love if you would, to everybody who is watching. It's become apparent to me that this is a part of our world, with doing things virtually for those who need that. We have folks joining us from the UK today, people joining us from Africa, people joining us from Canada, from Colorado. It was a little bit of a commute for them to come today, so they are joining online. And so we welcome them as well. If you will stand up, this really has just become our theme song. Sing it with me now. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Hear the earth is crying. One love, oh yeah, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Oh yeah, let's get together and feel alright. One more time, everybody now. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Hear Birmingham crying for one love. Oh yeah, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Oh yeah, let's get together and feel alright. Everybody give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. And so it is. Oh my God. Thank you, Phoenix. Thank you, Fraser, for being a part of this today. And the dancers, thank you, Melissa, and thank you, Patricia and Melanie. You joined right on in with them. I was like, look out now. They drafted another one. Thank y'all so much for being a part of this celebration. Now let's party, y'all. Let's do it. All right.
I picture something, it's beautiful, it's full of life and it is all blue. I see a sunset on the beach, yeah, it makes me feel calm. When I'm calm, I feel good. And when I feel good, I sing. And the joy it brings makes me